What is going on, everybody? I want to talk about IWMY. It's almost up to a year, almost its birthday coming up in a couple months here. I want to talk about seasonality and how it could negatively affect your account depending upon how you view seasonality. And I want to talk about massive mistakes that I have made on YouTube. Let's get into it. This is a tactical stock scalper. All right. So I want to start with the IWMY. You know, IWMY could not have come out at a better time. And that's kind of scary, I guess, depending upon how you look at it. If you look at when IWMY came out, I think it was October 30th, right? And ever since that point, if you just pull up a chart of IWM, right, the ETF of the Russell, or you can pull up the Russell, doesn't matter, you will see that IWMY basically came out at the very bottom of the chart for the Russell. So the timing could not have been better for them. Now, why I said scary is because the Russell, just like the markets, have done nothing but go up since that point. And of course, the Russell's a lot different. It's very volatile. It goes up and down within the channels. But yeah, I mean, they couldn't have picked a better time for IWMY to come out. Now, I bought, let me get my numbers here. I bought IWMY November 10th. And like I said, I think it came out October 30th. So I was in before the first distribution. Now at that point, I used dividend channel for this, okay? At that point, they had the price listed at $60.81. Now, of course, it wasn't that price because the reverse split, when that happened, affected this price and all of that, right? So at that point, $60.81, according to dividend channel, was the price of IWMY, and that's when I made my first buy in it. Now, not including the dividends, okay, or disbursements, whatever you want to call them, that are coming up Friday. You've received, if you bought around this time, right before the first dividend came in, you'd receive $32.49. So yeah, I mean, according to this, right, and depending how you bought, and I know there's a lot of variables with this, right, but just using this as a flat line, as a baseline rather, you made $32.49 per share, and the share price at November 10th was $60.81. So you're already over 50% of your initial investment paid off. And that's what? That's an 18.25 return right there. Not great. It's not horrible by any stretch, but it's not great. I mean, IWM, for instance, 31.92%. So we'll round up 32% return. So it's not to the strength of the underlying or to IWM itself, but I don't think anyone expected that. Now, when I first got into Defiance, you know, I really thought it would follow the market better than what it has. And I think most people, and I would be interested to know, who is still in Defiance? Have you sold out? Did you sell out for a loss? Were you still positive? You know, whatever. I'd really like to know your thoughts on Defiance and what you've done with it personally. But yeah, I'm still in it on IWM. Why? I sold all my QQQY position like 2-3 months ago, something like that, and moved all those shares to IWMY. Now, why did I do that? Because at that point, I thought maybe the market was topping, and you know, and the small caps with rate cuts upcoming were going to make a bigger run than maybe possibly the Qs itself, right? Well, so far that has not been the case, but that's what I get for trying to guess the market, right? And that's why, and we'll get into seasonality here in just a bit. But yeah, it's not been bad for me. I'm not upset at it. I'm not mad at it. And I'm still positive on it. And people like, how are you positive? Because the dividends, because we were fortunate, number one, that IWMY came out at the very bottom of the Russell chart, right? Like almost at the very freaking bottom. It's crazy. And it's done nothing but go up since. Now I know the IWM chart looks like this, but in between dividends throughout this period of time, it would go up to almost where the dividend drop was, sometimes halfway up, sometimes all the way up, whatever. And so you were able to capture some of that share price, and then a dividend came in. So I think that's how a lot of people have remained positive, because the dividends have outpaced the share price decline. Again, it's not nearly to the level that IWM itself is at. So overall, I'm happy with it, and I quit putting my own money into it, like I said, 2 to 3 months ago. And so that has helped. So I just reinvest the dividends, try to get that thing paid off as soon as possible. Now there's something else I did. I don't know if other people have done this or not. You know, I trade as well, right? So I would take those trades and put those profits for quite some time into IWM and QQQY, so, or IWMY. So my numbers are different, and I haven't like totally done the math to figure out exactly where I'm at. But yeah, a lot of these shares that I bought it with were from profits as opposed to money out of my own pocket. So in my mind, I could be wrong here, but just the way that I look at it, a lot of those shares didn't come from pocket money itself. They came from profits from trading. So there's that. I don't know. I may go through those numbers or not. Okay, let's talk about seasonality really quick. You know, this is like really prevalent, more so in trading discords and trading YouTubers versus investors. I saw a lot of people, because in the trading discords and trading YouTubers, expecting the market to be really bad in September and maybe even October due to past seasonality issues. And that could be dangerous, I think, at times, because the world is fluid. Things change throughout the world from day to day, year to year, whatever. So yeah, you can look at past history, I think, and say, oh, this could happen, because 70% of the time it's happened before, or whatever, you know, the basis there is. But it just goes to show you that with September, actually, the market ripping up to new highs in the latter part of September, that, or at least with the SPX, that it's really hard to do that. And seasonality doesn't always work, and basing your buys and sells based upon what could happen in the future, just something to think about and keep in your back pocket, I guess you could say. Now I'm going to do a video series coming up over the next 2 to 3 weeks over massive mistakes that I have personally made in YouTube. And I was going to do like an hour-long video on it, but I'm not really good at sitting around talking for like an hour. I get off track, and even though I have bullet points written, I tend to ramble. That's just me. So I want to be more concise with it and be more accurate and stick to the point more. So I'm kind of going to do like a little series over that, because I think it's important, and I don't want some of these mistakes I made to get lost in my ramblings. So I'm going to do that over the next couple 3 weeks. This is also a very, very busy time for us. This is our busiest time of year, and so yeah, you know, that's just how I'm going to present that. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the content. This is Mike, Tactical Stock Scalper, out.